Here. What's up, guys? Happy March 1st, Wednesday, 2023. I hope you guys have had a good start to your week. First stream of the week. Busy day yesterday, and Monday was just a couple of games. So, tonight, though, nice little healthy medium slate. So, hopefully we can have some fun tonight. Come away with some dubs. What up, Maine? What up, Steve? What up, Chris? What up, Mike? Robert says, I'm only taking your picks on DFS today. All right. Hopefully they're good. What up, Chris? Any thoughts on the freeware generator daily? Yeah, I don't know what that is, but that sounds like something a bot would say. Are you a bot, Chris? I never heard of that ever. But yeah, what up, Cam? Hope you guys are doing all right. Yeah, I just saw the Middleton news. I don't think I have that in my projections just yet. Maybe I do. Let me see. Controller Middleton. No, I did not. So when we get to that game, we'll adjust it. No big deal. No big deal. We'll figure it out. We'll do it live. Guys, today there's a $100 off the year pass. Since it's a new month, it's only good for 5 uses, and then I'll probably have to restructure a couple of these. But if you want, probably one of the better deals that we put out, promo code MLB makes the $4.99 year pass down to $3.99 and still comes with a $150 credit towards Fantasy Cruncher. We'll talk more about that again later, but that's a pretty doggone good deal. So go check that out. We got to do some work though. So let's pop open the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet and get to work. What up, Kev? It's a free lineup generator. Well, that's good. There's a couple free lineup generators out there. Generators themselves are all pretty similar. The projections are what make it most unique. Chicago Bulls at the Detroit Pistons. Project starting 5 for the Bulls. Patrick Beverley, Alex Caruso, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, and Nikola Vucevic taking on Killian Hayes, Jay Ivey, Rodney McGruder, Bojan Bogdanovic, James Wiseman. 221.5 total. 6-point spread in favor of the visiting Chicago Bulls. Pistons starting lineup is always a carousel, so we're not holding our breath here. McGruder, kind of a surprise start last game. Bojan's in the mix. You could see guys like Alec Burks, Marvin Bagley, maybe troll their way into a variation of this starting lineup. So keep on your toes when it comes to the Pistons here. Let's go pull up rotations here. Chicago Bulls adding Patrick Beverley into the mix. I feel like Beverley is like the final boss form of a Caruso, of a DeSumo. So last game, Beverley, Caruso, LaVine, the starting lineup that we have projected today was your starting lineup. I don't feel like there's much volatility in that starting lineup. And then when those guys are on the court, you kind of expect a stronger backcourt defense. Just looking at the eye test here. So don't think I'm going to be that enamored with any of the Beverly Carusos, DeSumo, Kobe Whites, but for Florida upside, the big three, LaVine, DeRozan, and Vucevic, all have a case here. 6-point spread, a lot of good matchups going their way here. So there is a median outcome where they all just kind of offer 40 fantasy points, but I do believe that there's a ceiling in each of these guys based on the matchup, but it would likely come at the expense of somebody else's ceiling or perhaps even floor. So I'm going to probably go one of the big three in a group, meaning I don't want more than one of these guys in the same lineup. Although I would say on FanDuel, I feel like you could get away with it, and to a lesser extent, or maybe a similar extent, on DraftKings as well. If you had dueling 40s from Levine and DeRozan, you wouldn't be surprised. So maybe the 9K price point on Vucevic is the one that's a little bit harder to get to, with a modest 40 fantasy point projection. But the Pistons are and have been one of the better matchups of basketball all year in terms of points in the paint scoring. Vuc's not somebody that has to get his points in the paint. He can shoot mid-range, he can shoot threes, and then the rebound matchup is just fine for a guy like Vucevic, averaging over 11 rebounds. So I don't mind any of these guys, but I will probably stagger one of three. If you're getting super cute in big field tournaments and you thought the Bulls could put this one away, maybe Andre Drummond at 3,500 sneaks into, a 1.5 fantasy point per minute. But I do think you're putting on a little makeup there on a 9-gamer that you don't really have to, but it wouldn't stun me if I looked up tonight and Drummond had 30 fantasy points against his former team. On the Pistons side, Pistons are kind of evolved, are turning into like maybe the Thunder or the Magic. More so the Magic, right? The Magic are a team that kind of sucks. Everyone's at 5K, and you can make a case for everyone, but their rotation is so diluted that there's just a lot of variables and a lot of ranges of outcomes. So I don't find myself getting to them that much in DFS. Bojan did have a tag on him, and we have seen him miss. So I guess if he were to be out, we might feel a little bit better, but he's listed as probable. Isaiah Livers is doubtful. And so joining Duren and Isaiah Stewart, or only Duren and Isaiah Stewart out, Livers doubtful. There's not really much to love here, but I guess Bojan in and of himself, if we thought 30 plus minutes, he's probably the guy that's should lead the team in scoring. So if I had to, I think there's some meat on the bone at that price point, but it's not something I'm running to. I guess does Bojan lead the Pistons in 3-point attempts? Yeah, he does. All right, so 5.8, not a ton, but 40% field goal percentage from 3, pretty good. And the Bulls this season have been kind of a funnel defense that sees a lot of threes from opposing teams. So let's go to the team metrics chart and look at opponent 3-point frequency. The Bulls see the 4th most 3-point attempts in terms of percentage of shots. So maybe we're looking at Bogey to hit some threes. Maybe drop 20 plus. What's this prop? 19.5. I feel like I would be interested in the over. Let's see what the market says. Which game? I just started, Andrew. We started 30 minutes. I want to say late, but sometimes we start at 3, sometimes we start at 3:30. We just started. So for 19.5, looks like some books have it at 20.5, and in other spots it's at like -120. So a little bit of steam on the over. So I guess I would lean the over. But it also seems like if Bogey's gonna do it, he's probably gonna hit some threes. I don't want to force that, but should see double-digit shot attempts. And hopefully more stable minutes with no Stewart, Duren, and Livers. The front court should be pretty easy to read. I also feel like there could be a different lineup that has Magruder on the bench, Bogdanovic at the 3, and Marvin Bagley at the 4. But we'll see. Maybe because they're so short in the front court, Bagley plays backup center. What did they do last game? Wiseman and Bagley essentially played every center minute opposite of each other, except the final couple of minutes. So maybe they have to go with this lineup. Okay. Let's get caught up on chat. Sumu's level 1 Pokemon. I don't even know Pokemon, but that's exactly the thought that I had. Pulled the numbers earlier. Levine has been weird on back-to-backs. Yeah, sometimes he doesn't play back-to-backs. But I think lately, yeah. So Zach Levine, DKP by game log on night 2 of a back-to-back last. Let's go last 20. He has kind of sucked. There's a 50 bomb there against Utah. Let's just go game logs shocking. What do we say, 7th against Utah? 36 points. Yeah, so I don't know. That we might be. He's averaging 52 against them. Yeah, I don't know. Because if I just, I don't think that's a back-to-back thing. I think he's ridiculously inconsistent, just straight up. So, I don't know. I wouldn't get too attached to the narrative of him being weird on a back-to-back, because he's just weird every game, you know? How do you feel about Ivy with point guard, shooting guard eligibility? Same thing with, I think, individually, 5,600 on Ivy. There's a price point where we could see 30 plus. That's what the projection is. But we could see Alec Burks, we could see Corey Joseph, we could see Hamby. Like, their rotation is so diluted that there's a little bit of volatility in his actual output minute wise. But I do think in a vacuum, if you're just looking for some dual eligibility and some value, he can be a solid value. But I'll also say, you know, we talked about this matchup not being great, right? Beverly and Caruso, two scrappy guys. I think Caruso is one of the top 5 in defensive Raptor. He might be top 1. I don't know a lot. Defensive Raptor, NBA. I feel like he had like a surprising number when I was looking at it the other day. Overall Raptor defense. Caruso is number 1. So it's not like it's a plus matchup anyway, on top of all the volatility that we get in the Pistons rotation. What up, Conscious? What up, Jake? What up, Dang Lazy Mofo? Andrew? L. Davis? Hope you guys are doing all right. Burks and RJ Hampton gonna cut into Ivy. How healthy? Even, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, it's a magic situation. So I'll let the not great matchup and the diluted rotation on a 9-gamer allow me to just look elsewhere. But if your back's against the wall, 5,600, like, he could pay that off. But no warm and fuzzies, right? Phoenix Suns at the Charlotte Hornets. Project 75 for the Suns. Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Torrey Craig, Kevin Durant, DeAndre Ayton taking on Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, Gordon Hayward, JT Thor, Mark Williams. We got a 229 total, 10-point spread. 10-point spread for the visiting Phoenix Suns. And this, we talk about final forms. This Phoenix Suns team could be rolling out their final form. And what many people believe is the team to beat when healthy. And they get a lackadaisical matchup against the Charlotte Hornets. Going to be one of the faster pace, worst offenses, worst defenses that you can get. So it's a plus spot for everyone. But this does remind me of like the Warriors from a couple years ago, really the Kevin Durant Warriors, where you really didn't know or feel great about one guy in particular. When they had Curry, Clay, KD, kind of the same spot here, right? Devin Booker, Durant, Ayton, Chris Paul. Do we think the price points are efficient? Is there opportunity for value? I guess looking at Devin Booker, his DraftKings price about $1,000 cheaper than his FanDuel price. So maybe if we get to Booker, it's going to be more of a DraftKings click. And then Kevin Durant, kind of the inverse here, almost $1,000 cheaper on FanDuel than DraftKings, but likely limited. And that limited minutes might be just enough to not really get to anyone, which is not something that you feel great about against a super nutty matchup. 8,100 for DeAndre Ayton. Again, $1,000 discrepancy between the sites. So how do we approach this? How do you guys want to approach this? I'm thinking we take shots on the cheaper counterparts, I guess. Obviously, we can't play Kevin Durant, right? Like, we can't, right? We can't, right? So I'm thinking Booker and Ayton. I think Ayton, just because of the matchup on DraftKings, like, I still get away with that. Phoenix. There we go. And let's see if we can get some actual limitation info. What up, Doug? Like Oubre as a pivot off of Rozier. That makes sense. Says, as expected, Kevin Durant will make his debut for the Suns on March 1st. They'll take on a tanking Hornets team that just lost LaMelo Ball for the season. Should be nice trial run for Phoenix to figure out lineups that work in a game, blah, 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 blah. Anybody have a minute restriction quote? Just kind of assuming it, right? Out for a month and a half. And we just watched them be very cautious with Devin Booker's minutes, right? So I don't think they'll get too crazy here, and it's a double-digit spread. So do we full fade the Suns? Nah, you can give me some Chris Paul. Matter of fact, and Chris Paul, and for us prop shoppers, I mean, this man might have 15 assists. It's that he's got that good of scoring around him. So what's the line on Chris Paul? Is it above single digits? It is at 8.5. What am I doing wrong here? What? I think that's gonna get me in trouble. I guess the spread could limit this game, but man, 8.5 seems like something Chris Paul could do at halftime with the matchup and with the tools that he has on the court with him. Yeah, there's a lot of juice on the over 8.5. It's gonna move to 9, so we'll add that to the list here. If you guys are looking to grab some action early, this Chris Paul 8.5 is not gonna last long. On the Hornets side, so without LaMelo Ball, this is a tighter rotation, and we're going to get near 40 minutes of Terry Rozier, and while it may not be like the best matchup you could ask for, 7,200 for 38 minutes is very intriguing. And the same with Kelly Oubre. That's to maybe pick up some slack here. And we might see some more facilitation from Gordon Hayward. So I guess what we can do is go run a usage check in similar lineups without LaMelo. And crazy that LaMelo went down, but I guess at the same time it was good for a tanking team. So let's put Rozier on the court, LaMelo off the court, and then we'll also take Plumlee off. What's up, Brooklyn? What up, King of all trades? 15 assists by halftime, exactly. What's up, Bino? I forgot the quote you were supposed to tomorrow. I forgot the quote. KD gonna bring that Brooklyn drama to Phoenix? Nah. I don't think KD was that Brooklyn drama. I think that was Mr. Kyrie. I think. I don't know. 31% usage rate on Rozier in this split. 25% assist rate. What about Dennis Smith Jr.? 26% assist rate. Kelly Oubre is at a 25% usage rate with a 40 or I thought his 3-point shot attempt volume was going to be higher. So why don't I have Dennis Smith listed? There we go. Does Dennis Smith start? Do I have a bad lineup here? I just pulled it from RotoWire. Do we think Dennis Smith starts with Rozier and then Oubre off the bench still? I guess both outcomes are possible. Let me go look at that Hornets game from when LaMelo went down. Dennis Smith came in immediately. So I guess Dennis Smith could start. That's probably the likelier outcome, right? So let's do that. And then let's go with that. So Dennis Smith at 5,100 on DraftKings feels like the best click here. And then do we have Charlotte props? 5 assists for Hayward. What about DSJ? Nothing. They didn't give us Dennis Smith Jr. They have 38.5 fantasy points for Rozier. I'm at 44, but I understand it's a bad matchup. Just wonder, do they leave him out there if the game gets too lopsided? Mark Williams is 6,300. I got him at 38. PrizePicks has him at 29. That's like a 9-point gap. Oof. God bless me. What happened to Ja? Dude, I've been seeing all kinds of crazy news about Ja today. Some of them were reports that have already been out, but it just seemed like everything's getting restirred today. I said something funny, but I do it all the time, Bino. Checking Ja and see if he got arrested. I don't think he got arrested, dude, but I think there's a lot of chaos, conjecture, rumor, innuendo. Ja's been involved in some stuff, and when one story here had whatever, but man, it's starting to feel like where there's smoke, there's fire. So I hope they get that all taken care of, and he doesn't throw away a great career. Dort started for Washington last game. Oubre can come off the bench, still play 30. Yeah, and if Oubre came off the bench, it's probably more stable usage. Thor is just breathing and doing wind sprints when he's out there. He's like PJ Tucker. What's up, Beast? Been smashing his unders for like a week. Who's that? Thor? Or Ja? What's your team? Yeah. They're saying new gun and assault charges. You ever seen Hustle and Flow? Memphis is that. Yeah, Memphis ain't nothing to mess with, man. It goes down there. But that's not a point of pride. John Morant has a chance to live a top 1% life, right? Don't be stupid. Don't throw it away. So I'm hoping it all gets settled, but you always hate to see every generation. There's a couple of bad boys in the league that don't leave a certain lifestyle behind or whatever. What's up, Crispy? All right, Cavs at the Celtics. Project 75 for the Cavs. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen taking on Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford, and Robert Williams, the Time Lord. We got a 218.5 total with a 5-point spread in favor of the Boston Celtics. Slow pace, grindy defensive expectations, but both offenses are really good, right? So usually I stay away from these slow pace top defensive games, but maybe we get ourselves maybe an Eastern Conference preview, right? Offensively, Celtics have the third best offensive rating The Cavs hanging into the top 10, and then defensively, Celtics are top 4, and the Cavs are top 3. And the Celtics, I think, have a chance to be even better, but there have been a stretch in their season where they haven't had Robert Williams or Tatum. They've had some outs. So expecting this one to be a slugfest. Just a 218.5 total, too, for 2 relatively clean sheets when it comes to the injury report. With that said, we got some attackable price points. 8,600 on Garland on FanDuel, 8K on DraftKings. Donovan Mitchell's probably hard to get to with a high level of confidence. And then Mobley and Jared Allen, they'd have to scrap it out. I think Garland's the one that stands out the most for me. And then on DraftKings, 3,700 for Karis LeVert is getting awfully cheap. So maybe that makes the blender of like 150 lineups. And then on the Celtics side, driving a wedge between Tatum and Brown exposure. Both guys have a ceiling at their price point today worth having some exposure to. Jaylen Brown may be the one that falls a little bit more just because he's cheaper, but both guys are in the mix for me today. And then everyone else is kind of there, right? So no tier 1s, probably no tier 2s, but I get to tier 3 shares of Garland, Brown, and Tatum. And yeah. Needs to have someone carrying his gun. What, the gangsters having 20 more dunks that you can poster? That's gang. Yeah, I don't. He's a millionaire from a good home. I was reading something earlier. It was like, I think Jake said it in the Discord. Maybe that's where I read it. It was like his upbringing is not what you think it would be, or at least that's what I read. So for him to be acting this way now, it's just kind of the inverse of the story arc of a lot of rags to riches. It's like riches to rags storytelling here. What up, Mike? Nike marketing department pushing that bad boy image, man. I just thought I don't vibe with it, man. It's not necessary. Garland or Mitchell, if you're looking for a points prop, probably Mitchell. But you're talking like alt line down. Let's see, Cleveland. 21.5 for Garland, 6.5 assists. The assists are intriguing to me, but that's been getting me burned against these slow-paced teams, man. I think I gotta stick with the fast-paced matchups for assists just to grab those extra possessions. And Mitchell's at 25.5. So like, if you're knowing you, Kim, if you're alt lining down, I'm probably going Mitchell. No warm with fuzzies though. He didn't grow up with a spoon in his mouth. He didn't, Renza. I don't know the story, but it, like, from what I read, it wasn't like your typical dad wasn't home. Obviously his dad's very active, but you know what I mean, like the typical story, the Deion Sanders defensive linebacker story. So I don't know. I hope that I honestly just hope they get it all fixed and settled. I'm not, you know me, I'm not here to cancel or end careers. I'm here to forgive, and hopefully they can resolve these mistakes and he can kind of wake up. Brooks corrupted job, maybe. Yeah, I don't know, man. Let's move on from that game. That game's pretty ugly all the way around. This game doesn't look much better, actually. It's even lower total. Sixers at the Heat. Project starting 5 for the Sixers: James Harden, DeAnthony Melton, Tobias Harris, PJ Tucker, Joel Embiid. Taking on Gabe Vincent, Tyler Hero, Jimmy G, buckets, Kevin Love, Bam Adebayo, 215 total, 1.5 point spread. So ever since Love has been starting, I've been really gravitating towards Adebayo unders. It started at like a 35.5 PRA. I'm sure it's been adjusted like 28 by now, right? Yep, exactly, 28.5. And 34.5 fantasy scores. So maybe we can get some actionable numbers here, but that's another spot where I don't have high hopes for Adebayo's output. And to achieve this, we'll just put Love and Adebayo on the court together, and we'll just see what all we're dealing with. How do you feel about Vooch against Detroit? I think individually the matchup makes sense, but it's one of those spots where it's also a great spot for Levine and DeRozan. So in a vacuum, it could work, but there is some volatility. Adebayo with Love. This is not right. Why is this happening? Kind of lame for beating up a 17-year-old and flashing the fire. Again, don't know the context, don't know the situation. There's a lot of 17-year-olds out there that are not representing themselves as 17-year-olds, right? Maybe he didn't know. I don't know the situation. But, you know, I don't like to jump to one side. 25% usage with Love on the court in 35 minutes. 0.72 fantasy points per minute. 0.65 on FanDuel, which is the PrizePicks scoring. And it just makes sense. Love's a guy that can score and steal some rebounds. So still somewhat interested in unders, especially in a matchup like this. Jacoby Davis, thanks so much for the sub, man. I hope you're doing all right. Welcome to the channel. Drop a year in chat. Matchup wise, though, the unders look pretty enticing for just about everybody. And there's not really a price point I see with a massive roof on it. Embiid, 12K on FanDuel, 11.2K on DraftKings would really have to be the top scorer on the slate to pay off these price points. Harden's kind of the same thing. And on the Heat side, with Love in the mix, everyone's still kind of priced. I'm gonna say max price, but 10K Jimmy doesn't feel great here. 8K Hero. So maybe these guys might fall as tier 3s, and maybe I'm maxing one per team, just to have some exposure. But a 215 total with two of the slowest paced teams in basketball just doesn't really incite a lot of inspiration. So hate to be lazy on that. Did you guys have anything on this game? It was like Harden. Maybe does Harden have like an 8.5 assist line because of the pace? He's not even on the board. Why is that? Philly's not on the board. Is there any news that just came out? Like, why is there nothing on Philly? If Embiid is out, is that the news that just came out? Like, why is there nothing? Joel Embiid questionable. Oh, well, I guess that'll do it. If Embiid is out, I don't know, man. I think the Sixers would be in a really rough spot. But Embiid, so how serious is it though? Because Embiid has certainly played through a Q tag quite a bit this year. Joel, you good? Yeah, maybe. It looks like Joel's gonna be probably questionable. He's gonna warm up, see how he feels. If he could go, he could go. If not, Paul Reed will be chalk. Montrezl Harrell. Thanks, Doc. What's up, Amazement? Hope you're doing all right. We're in the New York Post. The kid is nationally ranked prospect. God dang. Oh, so then he knew then. He knew. This one came up midday. Left foot soreness. All right, so then that's usually something that we brace ourselves for. Him to be out. So, yikes. We'll see if this line moves too, though, because 1.5 is, I think, what's a fair market line? Sixers on the road without Embiid against a top Heat team. I could see the Heat getting to like 5.5, 6.5. All right, if there was no Embiid, maybe. If Montrezl Harrell had a start or had some minutes here, per minute, he's always been a beast. So maybe that's, I don't know. And then Tobias Harris is probably underpriced, 6K on FanDuel, 5,400. Let's just run a quick check on that, just to be prepared if the news does drop, you know. Nice Doc impression, thank you. It actually hurts when I do it, but so you got for the bits and the thumbs up. Maybe the chat can hit the thumbs up. That one was worse. Now my throat actually just hurts. Yeah, hit the thumbs up, man. Where are we at on likes? 41. Golly, you could do so much better, chat. So much better. Charlie, what the flip? What did I just do? How did Charles Brown get on the... All right, Toby on, Embiid off. Thank you. And then let's also put Harden on. Sounds like a backwoods uncle with 30-year-old smokers. Did you smoke a ton of cigarettes? 29% usage there for Harden. 1.4 DraftKings points per minute. 43% assist rate. Toby, just under 1 fantasy point per minute. Maxey, kind of the same. So, yeah, if you lost Embiid, I mean, those guys just will project better. I think Tobias Harris's price point has a little bit more upside. And then we'll see what kind of lineup the Sixers threw out. They could, logistically, put PJ Tucker at the 5. Like, that's not impossible. Could put Tobias Harris at the 4 and then throw in Tyrese Maxey into the lineup just to have more scoring. Possibly. Couple of outcomes, you know. All right, let me scroll up and get caught up. Took Bam under PRA for that game. He seems to struggle against the Sixers. Yeah, though we'll say Embiid, Embiid's a good defender. If Embiid's not in the mix and use like Montrezl Harrell, he's not as stout defensively. So matchup would get better, but just logistically, Adebayo's usage takes a step backwards because of Kevin Love's involvement. The kid is showing them apparently threatened to light the place up like fireworks. Memphis is just a different place, man. PJ Tucker was quoted as saying that he really didn't want to leave Miami. Miami seemed like a good place to live or be. I don't know. With Jimmy PRA, I think it was Bam tough matchup. Jimmy's gonna shoot. If this becomes a rock fight, a lot of the boards gonna run with Point Lowry anyways. Isn't Lowry out? Oh, he's gonna run Point without Lowry. Okay, I see what you're saying. So what you're saying, Cam, is you're thinking Jimmy Butler over PRA is what all that was about. So let's go PRA. My throat still hurts from the Doc impression. Might have to clip it. The best voices hurt the most. Yep. Butler. 33. What the flip? Yo, that's a lot of some sites. What is BR? BR is, I don't know what BR is, but BR has it at 33.5. FanDuel has a 32.5. DraftKings has it at 31.5. Potential arbitrage opportunities. I don't know, man. What does PrizePicks have it as? That's a lot of. I mean, 3-point differences. Like that's a lot. Right smack dab in the middle. 32.5 for PrizePicks. So 32.5 at some place has a little bit of steam on the over, such as FanDuel and PointsBet. So it does kind of match up with what you're saying. And then, okay. Yeah, I don't know. No warm and fuzzies here. Let's see what the prop projections came back for Jimmy. Yimmy. I'm at 27. I have drastically under, but I'd probably need to tweak that. That's a little manual logic added. So Davis is out. Did not see it. Yeah, AD is out. So is D-Russ, I believe. D-Russ is out on top of LeBron. He belongs to Strider. Lakers season in shambles, man. Jimmy had a monster game against Philly last time. I'm hesitant to not fall into the trap. Looks good though. Yeah. Here. What up, Vic? What up, Carlos? Doc gets the team. I like Doc. I know, like, he's probably massively overrated, and he's a horrendous guy to lean on for information. But I like him. But I like a lot of people. I'm just a lovable, like, I don't know. I was happy when he got his roses. Brooklyn Nets at the New York Knicks. Project starting five for the Nets: Spencer Dinwiddie, Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Nick Claxton. Taking on Jalen Brunson, Quentin Grimes, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. 223.5 total. 7.5 point spread for everything. Home team, New York Knicks. Ben Simmons out. Edmund Sumner out. Watanabe, GTD. Starting to develop more information about what this Brooklyn Nets team is, who's going to be their offense, and it seems like Mikal Bridges is picking up a lot of the slack here. So let's put Bridges on the court. I don't think I want to get too crazy. I don't have to put, once we put Bridges on, obviously there's going to be no Kyrie and KD, nothing like that. So this is all we need to go with, right? Bridges on. 27% usage rate for Bridges, 22% for Dinwiddie. Claxton's at 22%. The assist rate is led by Dinwiddie. So Bridges points. All right. 19, 16, double-digit shot attempts for Bridges 4 games straight. It has a 20-plus shot attempt range of outcomes and a lot of minutes in a close game range of outcomes. So just the 50-point game is where he played less than 37 minutes, 36 minutes. So Bridges looks like, if we wanted to get to the Nets, if we had to do it, would probably be the most interesting guy. I'm getting almost a 40 fantasy point projection. What are the 3-point attempts looking like? 5, 6, 7. So he'll chuck from 3 a little bit too. And the Knicks are one of those funnel defenses that restrict points in the paint and encourage shots from behind the arc. So Bridges, yeah, and maybe that would correlate with Dinwiddie assists. As Dinwiddie led the team in assist rate, but it wasn't like a 40% assist rate or 30%. It's just like 26. So 6 assists seems appropriate, right? See what shoppers, what the market has. Brunson's looking boom. I like Jalen Brunson. Brunson's one of those guys, and maybe it's one of those guys that has been great for fantasy, so we overvalue him as a real life basketball player. But I feel like Brunson's always been really good when he gets run. Yeah, so the line moved to 6. So I guess if there's anywhere that would give us still 6 or 5.5, we'd take the over. Brunson. No, we don't have it on NHA either. Okay. Wait, did I look up Brunson? I meant Dinwiddie. I'm an idiot. Y'all mess with my brain. Six and a half. So 5.5 cap. The same thing. 5.5 got pushed the over. Some books have it at 6.5. That's a pretty big gap. So for DFS, I'm playing some Bridges. Probably not going to get to Dinwiddie much. Claxton at 6,400. You can make a case for it, but it's not a strong matchup. So I'm thinking Bridges is the most alluring option for me here. Maybe you can muscle some Cam Johnson. On the Knicks side, Jalen Brunson's just keeps on chugging along, right? And his price just kind of stays right there in that 8K-ish area. I guess 3 games of rough outcomes. Boston's a tougher matchup. New Orleans, lopsided game. Washington, 6 for 20. Took 20 shot attempts with 9 assists. If you tell me the guy has 9 assists with 20 shot attempts, I'd probably lock him pre-flop, right? So Looking for him to hit a couple more shots to get to that 40. So I'm not giving up on Jalen Brunson here. And then Julius Randle against the Knicks. I think I like Brunson more than Randle here. And that's all I got to say about that. Your Yankees look good so far. Going to the ship. Yeah. It's spring training. I don't really. But I like it. Brunson is him. Who you thought you were, I'm him. I had to cut a promo and I used that line. Because I'm on whatever you want. Yankees are never off topic. Nope. I will take time out of my day all the time to talk some Yankees baseball. Take any Quickly props. He's fire off the bench for us. You like Quickly? I can look. I probably won't take him, but I'll look. Clear that. Quickly. No Quickly props there. Probably won't get him, actually. Here, what up, Tyler? Shoust. What up, J. Cole? Jermaine Cole. Young Simba. Mr. Nice Watch. Man, this ain't even me. That's like my favorite skit of RDC, bro. It's so good. Yeah, we still got a couple weeks to get through. We got the World Baseball Classic to get through. We love baseball, though. Do we want a Bridges point prop? 20.5. 31, 24, 45. So again, outside of this game where they're getting smoked by 50, Bridges is he's contributing. I guess there's a Knicks game here where he kind of sucked, but 8 shot attempts. What happened there? That doesn't seem like the new norm. Let's go pull up Brooklyn. Does Cam Reddish seem like a discount Jeremy Grant in the current situation? That's a good comp. I like the way you worded that. He does. Call Bridges. So didn't play the final couple minutes. Who took all the shots here? Was it 0 for 1? Dinwiddie. 0 for 1. Who took all the shots? Claxton? 2 for 3. DFS? 0 for 2. They just didn't shoot the basketball, apparently. Let's go to that game specifically. Good Yankee pot. Man, I would love to have like a Yankee YouTube channel. I have so many dreams and ideas, but I don't have realistic amount of time to do them all. But Yankee, just talking Yankees is a passion. In that game, 21 shot attempts for Dinwiddie. Only one other person in that game took double digits, and it was Cam Johnson. Feels like they've gotten away from that pretty fast. But Dinwiddie, I guess, is not afraid to shoot threes. Anyway, I kind of like the Bridges over points. We don't have a 3-point prop for Dinwiddie, right? So, like, if we wanted to correlate maybe Dinwiddie assists with Bridges points, but I kind of like Bridges points here. And then let's see what the market has on Bridges for points. What's up, Brad? Top 2 studs showing up on FanDuel. Man, so far there hasn't been like a pay up guy that's screaming at me yet. Or maybe we're about halfway through. Maybe one will develop. McCall 20.5. A little bit of steam in some spots, but kind of coin flippy through and through. Actually, I went to 21.5 on FanDuel. So there's a lot of discrepancies between some books today. I I'll put it as like a tier 3, maybe a tier 2, but I'll just list it on the, well, whatever, over 20.5 points for Bridges, right? We'll just make a little bit of a list here. Any PrizePicks standouts? The only 2 I have written down right now were Paul over 8.5 assists, and that's liable move. If it hasn't already moved, that was getting juiced up, steamed up, at like minus 130 on the over. It's a lot of spots, so I expect that to be 9.5 before lock, and then I'm kind of leaning to Bridges 20.5 right now. 7.5 point spread though. Knicks are okay. Robinson boards. He's awesome rebounding. Yeah. Claxton fantasy over. I haven't projected for a lot. And I guess with Ben Simmons down, does Simmons represent rebounds? I feel like it's possible. See Ben Simmons in this split. 33% of the team's total rebound opportunities in 21 minutes with Bridges on the court, which put Claxton at 24.5%. So like, there's not going to be any sample size to speak of, I guess you could say, but the 24.5% has to go up, right? It doesn't. What the flip? But it's 108 minutes, so I don't know. Daron Sharp. If I probably am not that excited on FanDuel for Claxton. DraftKings I can muscle a 30 plus. If I had to get somewhere for Claxton on prop betting, I'd probably be looking at rebounds. It's at 10. I don't feel like I'm getting a great deal there. So probably oh no, rebounds is at 8.5, points is at 10. So probably rebounds or fantasy. Maybe he picks up a block or 2 against Randall. 3, yeah, he gets some blocks. So if I had to get something on PrizePicks, I'm thinking rebounds or fantasy points. And maybe fantasy points is the stronger lean. But I also want to say, like, this isn't like Claxton went through a stretch earlier this season where he was offering 35 minutes a game, right? You look at this stretch with this new look team, I guess there was a couple foul trouble games, 5 fouls, and that's Julius Randle, right? You can get in foul trouble, but even in some spots where he wasn't in foul trouble, the minutes haven't been quite as liberal. And the shot volume is so drastically down. So it's not the same play he was for that stretch. You know what I mean? But if I had to get somewhere, I'm thinking rebounds or fantasy. And maybe without Ben Simmons, they just need his size out there a little bit longer. So maybe he could play more. But we're just hoping, right? That's pretty much it, right, for this game. Let's see what else we got. What are we doing in chat? They did some DFS at the 5. That makes sense. Let's look at their rotations lately. So Claxton's off the court. Right here, it looks like this is one of those stretches where DFS played at the 5. There was like a burp for Daron Sharp against the Hawks. Yeah, I could see it. I don't know that you want to get too small ball against the Knicks if they're running Mitch, Rob, Randall, Sims, Hartenstein, guys like that. I think if there was a day for Claxton to see over 30 minutes, this matchup, no Simmons, as long as the size is still there, but we're still hoping. I always take Cam in the first half. Nice. Can't get Gary Harris. He hasn't been the same since before his injury in Denver. I feel Feel bad for Advia owners. 13 rebounds in the first half. Ended with 23. 23 fantasy points or 23 rebounds? Avi is he be getting rebounds. Kind of like Fultz, point guards do well against the Bucks, ironically. What's up, Mopar? How are you? What do you think about the over on Dort? 4.5 rebounds. My bad. No, I haven't got to that game yet. But should be some minutes and opportunity there for him. Speaking of opportunity, today at RunDFS.com, in the spirit of baseball, shout out to, was it Vic that brought up baseball? There's a 5-limit usage for the year pass, which is $4.99 straight up. But for anyone that types in the coupon code MLB, I believe you see it somewhere on the screen here, you get $100 off. So $3.99 gets the entire rest of the year of VIP access at RunDFS.com. And that $3.99 comes with a $150 credit towards Fantasy Cruncher. So you kind of rebate that down. And that unlocks premium Discord access and daily spreadsheets for basketball and baseball. And the bomb detector coming back at the end of this month. So wanted to keep plugging that because that is probably going to be a today or tomorrow only thing. Actually, no, it's just limited to the first 5. So first 5 people to use that, and then it's done. So a little special thing that we're doing. Otherwise, week passes, 2-week passes, month passes, all that good stuff still there. But man, that year pass special, really good, really good. I suck at baseball. It takes patience. Baseball is I think baseball is like the hardest sport to learn for DFS. But once you get it, it's like the easiest sport of them all because you're not sweating news other than like weather. Lineups are out with a lot. Like it's just one of those things. Once you get it, once it clicks, boom, you're in there. But I can hold your hand. If you never played baseball DFS before, or maybe content was a little confusing, I'm your guy. Just stick around. And then when baseball comes back, probably gonna be doing double barrel streams, man. Probably on this channel. I guess maybe Stochastic might ask me to do some over there. But either way, we're gonna be doing baseball coverage a lot. So I'll try to help you out and bring all your baseball questions because I got you. Have 100% McCollum to keep it G. Revenge narrative, no Alvarado. Richardson's questionable. All right. It's 3 years. It's year 3 and I can't get in the top. So always Dollar Tree money. Hey, man. It is what it is. Teams like the Reds we have in our lineups. I love it. You'll be right. My advice, and we'll get into this Grizzlies game. My advice for baseball is, if you haven't played before, don't try to be like a one lineup guy. I'm not saying go play 150, but 10 to 20. Find my favorite approach is to tell people to play 20 lineups in like the $1 or the mini max, and then find 4 or 5 teams that you like, and then you could stack them. And on DraftKings, 5-man stacks. That's what I'm saying. It's so simple. Like once you get it, you get it, and it's simple. So either stack 4 teams 5 times or stack 5 teams 4 times, and then go from there. And then as long as you have a solid process for pitching, and my biggest, I think what I see a lot of new people do is they punt pitching so much, and you just don't have to do it. I never get cute at pitching if I don't have to. So a little crash course, but I can't wait. You guys are getting me excited. Grizzlies at the Rockets. Projects 35 for the Grizzlies. John Morant, Desmond Bain, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., Xavier Tillman, maybe. Up against Kevin Porter Jr., maybe. Jalen Green, Kenyon Martin, Jabari Smith, and Alperen Sengun. 230.5 total, 10-point spread in favor of the visiting Memphis Grizzlies. KPJ is questionable, right? He's been missing some games, so see if we can get an update on that. Houston. Simons is now a Q tag. That's interesting. Play 20 max is what I would say. Hit 10K win on MLB last year on accident. Not good at baseball either. Don't get it twisted. There's luck in baseball, but I think the variance gets too much of a bad rap in baseball. Because fudge, man. Every NBA slate we're seeing, third stringers break a slate or I don't know, whatever. Remember when Marcus Mariota threw himself a touchdown in the playoffs a couple years ago? I just laughed at that because, people were like, I can't play MLB. It's too much variance. My man threw himself a touchdown. But it'll be all right. But I also love baseball in the same way. Like, you can win tournaments with a couple zeros, man, It's good stuff. Use some Daniel Camerana against Max Scherzer. All right. KPJ's questionable left foot contusion says the long wait might be finally over for Porter Jr. as his upgrade to questionable in the injury report points to a positive sign that he will make his return to the floor Wednesday. The young guard will look to provide a spark. Blah blah blah. Yeah, okay, they're not sparking anything. Well, anyway. If KPJ is back, so the Rockets have just been openly tanking, right? Like, not playing Şengün deep. If you put 7K KPJ back in the mix, it just makes me not want to play any Rockets, for being honest. Şengün got to 29 minutes. I guess then it blew out. So I guess if that game was competitive, you could argue that maybe 34, 35 minutes was coming his way. But it's just so ridiculously frustrating at the end of the night. Like, this game against the Blazers ultimately ended up like a 17-point game, but it wasn't. And he only played 24 minutes, didn't touch the court in the fourth quarter, right? So it just doesn't feel like they're trying. And now you're in a 10-point spread against the Grizzlies. And one thing about the Grizzlies that we're starting to see lately is without Steven Adams, they have certainly surrendered a lot of rebounds. Like, we've been seeing some big rebound games against them. So, like, would have liked the thought of Şengün here for not just fantasy, but maybe some rebounds as well. Şengün has a 15.2% rebound rate, highest on the team with sample size. But I can't do it, right? Unless we're getting discounted numbers. And we're not. We just don't have numbers. So I don't know, man. My throat still hurts from the Doc Rivers impression. Ow. Also, my second monitor just kind of like blacked out and froze, so hoping that comes back in a second so I can read chat. In the meantime, though, I just don't see anything on the Rocket side that is going to. There we go. It's back. Okay. On the Grizzlies side, I like the thought of Ja Morant. I know there's some conjecture with these news stories developing. I don't think that's gonna impact him on the court unless I missed a report. And I'm looking at the news wire here. Nothing came out, right? Bojan available to play. That's good to know. Yeah, I don't got nothing on that. So I know some of these news stories are dropping, but I don't think it's gonna do anything. So we just look at the matchup, and the matchup is really good for Ja Morant and everyone. But one of the things that is Houston really locking the paint like that? I feel like I did not expect that. Maybe it's just because they're so bad at defending the three, people don't score on them in the paint. Points in the paint allowed. Bro, Houston is top 6. How? How's that possible? I guess it's this. They're seeing the most 3-point attempts allowed per game, 39.2. They're giving up the most threes per game. And are seeing the highest 3-point frequency. Morant's not the guy chucking threes. He drives to the rack. So Desmond Bane threes? Desmond Bane averages the most threes per game, 41% 3-point field goal percentage. Can we get Bane threes before the blowout? It's not an option, huh? Well, shoot. If that does come up, like, I would have. Usually those lines are like 2.5. Maybe because of this spot, it'll be 3.5. But if they do add that eventually, we take first half props for Rockets game. That makes sense. Hey, Houston could be. I don't know, man. It's the tank crap annoys me. But a lot of times teams are too dumb to know that they're supposed to suck, right? Bane threes, 2.5. Yeah, it's pretty juiced on the over ish. Maybe they offer it 2.5. If it does ever drop at 2.5 on PrizePicks, I would be in on the over, but I probably wouldn't expect it to be dropped. You know, Jaren Jackson Jr. So the Rockets. Let's see. Let's go back to the metrics chart. Rockets allow the most blocks per game. Allow the most blocks per game. Jaren Jackson Jr. has entered the chat. So is 3.5 a prop today for him? Free throws. 36 fantasy points is Jaren Jackson Jr.'s prop line. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Just stop it. Literally, stop it. I don't. The man literally could have 5-6 blocks against the best block matchup. That seems way too low, guys. That's going to get me in trouble. I completely understand the blowout, the minutes, and this would be the random foul trouble game. But that's, I just can't. I gotta, I'm in on that. I gotta add that to the list, y'all. I'm sorry. Jaren Jackson Jr. over 36 FPS. Remember, blocks are +3 over there. So if you got 5 stocks, very possible. That's 15 points off the rip. I'm in. Baines should smash them tonight. Yeah, he should. I guess if we were interested in Baines' 3-point prop, what was his point prop? 20.5? Fudge. The spread has me scared there, because this could be like Tyus Jones' 4th quarter triple-double. I'd rather take the threes, but maybe you could top that into the first half. We talked about doing that. 10.5 first half points or 17.5 fantasy. No warm and fuzzies there, but sure. Şengün's better than Wembanyama. Ooh, I don't know. Hey, man, have you watched Wembanyama game film? That man is a glitch from 2K, bro. Have you ever just made, like, the funkiest looking created player, but then it just ball out? That's... Wembanyama doesn't look real. Respectfully, like, he's going to be a millionaire, but wow. The stuff that he does is just incredible. Triple J will have a massive game today. No 10 blocks. It's possible. That's why I'm on the over the fantasy, right? This is a Tyus Jones day. It's very, very possible. And Tyus Jones really cheap. So, like, I guess in big field tournaments, if you thought that was the case on DraftKings, like, there's merit into sprinkling some of him in those 100K to first and hoping for things to go your way. Certainly set some group restrictions and some rules that would tell that story. But, yeah. I mean, Giannis, KD 3.0. Yeah, he's really good. Would you wear your best jewelry to a hole-in-the-wall bar? No reason for Memphis to go all out. Memphis has not been a very respectful team when it comes to smoking teams, right? Crossover one-legged strap back threes are not Şengün's bag. Yeah, I like Şengün too, but Wembanyama is looking like the truth. Excited to see. Like, he's so generational that we're seeing, like, even more blatant tanking than usual. Like, people want to get their hands on Wembanyama. All right, let's move on to the next game. If KPJ played, like I said, I think that would just splash everything enough that I'm just not that interested. And then Şengün's minutes at almost 8K scare me. And a 10-point spread. Magic at the Bucks. Projects 35 for the Magic. Markelle Fultz, Gary Harris, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr. taking on Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Brook Lopez. We recently had Chris Middleton listed as out, right? So we got to fix that. And I got to adjust 29 minutes of his gameplay, but 227.5 total, 9-point spread for the Milwaukee Bucks. Should be a pretty lopsided game. Giannis, I guess, and Drew Holiday both look a little bit better now that Middleton is not likely to play. Giannis played 28 minutes last night. Efficient per minute. I think he's gonna. Somebody asked, what stud do we like the most? Giannis has the highest raw fantasy point projection on the slate. Damian Lillard's right behind him, and maybe Lillard gives us a more competitive game. So maybe we get there a little bit more. But yeah, Giannis is Giannis. And then Drew Holiday is almost 9K on both sides. So he essentially needs to give you a great shot at 50, right? 9-game slate. So yeah. Middleton's 20 to 25 to 30 minutes. We fill in the blanks. Maybe Ingles gets a little bit more love. Maybe Portis a little bit more usage while he's on the court, but everyone's like priced to the gills here, so no warm and fuzzies there. On the Magic side, talked about how they're pretty diluted in their rotation, pretty deep, so no one stands out as a must click. If you guys had that feeling in your bad knee on some of these guys individually, Markelle Fultz, Banchero, Wendell Carter, like I wouldn't push back at all. Franz Wagner, they all have a chance to pay off their individual price point, but none of those guys become warm and fuzzy. So I probably max one Magic player a lineup and put most of them in tier 3 because Wagner is interesting. Fultz to a lesser extent. I don't want to be in at like more than 6% on any of these guys, so not that enthralled with it. Another game that could be lopsided, right? Bobo's better than Wemby. Okay, all right. Okay. Can I get a mod to put the chat in emote only mode after that? Thank you. That's a joke. Lakers at the Thunder. Projects 35 for the Lakers. Dennis Schroeder, Malik Beasley, Troy Brown Jr., Rui Hachimura, and Jared Vanderbilt taking on Josh Giddey, Isaiah Joe, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, and Jalen Williams. 227 is our total 3.5-point spread for the home team going OT. OKC Thunder, right? The Thunder favored against the Lakers. Without context, it sounds pretty doggone crazy, but the Lakers become a source of value here with no Anthony Davis, no LeBron James, no D'Angelo Russell, and life without all the guys that they traded. So Jared Vanderbilt looks like he's going to be one of the best points per dollar values across the slate on both sides, especially on DraftKings. Dennis Schroeder, Revenge, has a A lot of people in OKC that still cheer for him, right? This could be a huge game for him. It's probably expecting some ownership on that. Malik Beasley. We're probably stacking the Lakers here. I think you can get away with 3 Lakers and Cavs games tonight and kind of spin the wheel around them, and that would probably be Schroeder, Beasley, Vanderbilt, but definitely Schroeder and Vanderbilt for me. And on the Thunder side, without SGA, we got a little sample size in the last couple games of how it goes. I think Jalen Williams is probably the guy that I'm most intrigued with. And one of the props we've been attacking for Jalen Williams lately has been his assist prop. We got into it last night. He had 8 assists. So maybe we run that back against this Lakers team. What do we have on the board for him, huh? 4 assists? Y'all. Oh my God. Let's get some percentages here. Jalen Williams on the court without Shea. And then also while we're here, what is Vanderbilt's fantasy? 32.5. That's probably fair, but I think I have him at like 40, so I'm still on the over. Let's go back to this. Jalen Williams has a... It's only 20% assist rate, so maybe I got really lucky, or maybe I didn't. Let's go since the beginning of February. How about that? Bomba season, maybe. Still just 20%. Giddy's at 29% assist rate. What is Giddy's prop, if anything? Oklahoma. 7.5. Wow. 34.5 PRA with a 39.5 fantasy score. I have him at 45. All right, so we can stack this game, but I'm more intrigued with the Lakers here. But Giddey has a ceiling worth attacking. Jalen Williams, I like. Those are the 2 Thunder I get to the most. But I wouldn't talk you off of Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, guys like that. Jalen Williams, the center, I'm not too enthralled with, just because it coming with some volatility when it comes to actually playing through the second half. But I guess without Mike Muscala, it's a little bit more likely. But even then, like last night, just 17 minutes, so it's a little hard to trust. So you can give me Jalen Williams, Josh Giddey, Schroeder, Beasley, Vanderbilt as the guys I like the most. And then we'll kind of spin the wheel on these other guys, these tertiary guys. Mentioned Mo Bamba, Austin Reeves. Those are guys that are fine. Mo Bamba, I'm not projecting crazy things for Mo Bamba here. Rui Hachimura also 3,700. Like, I guess they still have bodies, more bodies than you would thought. Like, is Wenyen Gabriel above Mo Bamba? Like, is that a thing? 12 minutes last night. Bamba, 1 minute last night. Maybe. I like all the Williams. Hey, Kendricks is out, man. They had 3 of them. 71 likes. Can we get to 100? 29 more of you guys, and the 260 of the coolest cats in YouTube hanging out too, man. I appreciate that. All right, let's get to the main event one more time. Before we do that, let's take a pause for the cause. If you guys are looking to tail any of the prop bets that we've been kind of on, or if you're looking to make some of your own prop cards, I simplify these big slates. PrizePicks, No House Advantage, Thrive Fantasy, Underdog Fantasy, all those sites. If you decide to grab an account over there, if you would sign up using code Kundacker, you would be a G, right? Because they show some love whenever you guys do that, and then when you do that, they double your first deposit up to $100. So a lot of greatness going on there. So do that, and then we'll have links. If you're watching on demand, check the pinned comment. We'll have links to all of them. And if you are in the free Discord, I think we have links to them in the free Discord, but just use code Gundecker. Everywhere, code Gundecker. Would appreciate it. And then, like I said, 5 uses for the MLB promo code. You see it on the screen here. The $4.99 year pass, get $100 off of that. So $3.99 with a $150 credit towards Fantasy Cruncher using coupon code MLB. That's such a good deal. First 5, though. First 5. Blazers hosting the Pelicans. Project 35 for the Pelicans. CJ McCollum, Josh Richardson, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, and Jonas Valanciunas taking on Dame Dollar. Making money ain't new to him. Cam Reddish, Matisse Thybulle, Jeremy Grant, Drew Eubanks. 233 is our total 1.5 point spread in favor of the Portland Trailblazers. So I had Anthony Simons listed as out, and it looks like we got a midday upgrade from out to questionable. Yeah, listed questionable. So we'll see what that means. If Simons did play, it might take the top off of Lillard. But Lillard's just in a different planet right now. Just crazy what he's doing. So pre-flop from a DFS standpoint, like he's still, I think he's second for me in raw fantasy points behind only Giannis. The shot volume is going to be 20 plus. Matchup's going to be okay, not great, but not bad. So we get to him just because of his range of outcomes of being the top dog on the slate. But if Simons did play, that might be enough to just kind of impede everything. Not quite the KD situation because Lillard certainly has a ceiling with Simons, but with Jeremy Grant, with Reddish in the mix, would make me feel a little less stability on his floor to ceiling ratio. On the Pelican side, McCollum and Ingram, 2 guys I like quite a bit. We got Q tags on Richardson. We got Alvarado out, Larry Nance out. No revenge game for him. So maybe if we lost J Rich, do we feel better about Valanciunas' minutes without Larry Nance straight up? Because it's rare that we can play him with any bit of confidence lately. J Val last game saw 23 minutes, and that was a game where Jackson Hayes closed out. So I guess they still have Hernan Gomez and Hayes and enough to make that annoying. What's the story on J Rich? Nolans. Left cat. J-Val himself is questionable, so whatever. Nothing there. Richardson. So you guys are on McCollum heavy or extra because of no Alvarado and potentially no J Rich. Diagnosed with a right quad contusion. Yeah, they could be literally limping, no pun intended, into this one if they don't have J Rich. So okay, I can get down with that. And McCollum is pretty cheap. A little revenge narrative against his old buddy Lillard too. I could buy into this, y'all. I can get into some McCollum here. A lot of good years in Portland. I want to see this 30s turned into 40s, but it's possible here. One game against Portland earlier this season, point per minute in 37 minutes. So we'll get to some McCollum. Do we get to McCollum more than a tier 3? We go tier 2 on him, and then Ingram at 8,300, looking for 40 plus as well. What's our point prop or fantasy point prop for McCollum? 20.5 points, 5.5 assists, 35.5 fantasy. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Let's see, assists from McCollum. Jackson Hayes smash, man. I hate playing that carousel in the front court. You just give me Jared Vanderbilt. I'm not gonna put too much makeup on past Vanderbilt, man. You should kill it. But if JVL doesn't play, then Jackson Hayes would likely draw the start with Larry Nance already out. And then maybe Guillermo Hernan Gomez is in the mix as well. Could potentially start as well. McCollum. It's a lot of juice on the over 5.5 assists for McCollum. I mean, some spots it's minus 141. So for PrizePicks to still be at 5.5 on McCollum, seems like that line's likely to move too. So if you're just looking for odds value, we'd probably take McCollum over 5.5. So we'll add it to the list. And you know what happens? PrizePicks. Add it to the tally. All right, let's get caught up. You guys got any lasting questions, comments, concerns? Drop them in chat before we get out of here. J. Cole says, Vanderbilt major letdown versus Memphis. He owes me money. I think he can make it up against OKC. Bamba can shoot 3 and he's a point per minute. Yeah, I don't disagree with Bamba being a point per minute. I just worry about the minute part of, of that equation. Why sign Bamba to sit him? Gabriel's done nothing all season. At least let's see. I don't disagree with that, Vic. Coaches be coaching, though, you know. What's up, Francisco? Mitchell over 25.5 points opinion. That's one of those hard to read matchups. Slow pace, 2 good defenses, and 25.5 points. I guess that's slightly below his season average, ain't it? Let's see. Control F, Mitchell, Donovan. So season average is 27. So it's below his season average, but you're probably expecting a below average output against a way above average defense. So I just think it's there. It's not something that's on my list. Season McCollum fantasy points. I'm with that. Odds that J-Val sits. So I think if the dominoes start falling and the Pelicans find themselves like with J Rich down and then already without Nance. I mean, this injury list is really, really long. I think it might be the longest of any team on the slate. With Zion, Larry Nance, EJ Liddell doesn't count, but Alvarado, like these are rotational guys. And then if you lose J-Val and or J Rich, one or the other, it might become a pure punt spot. But I don't really have odds. But for a center, you know, a center to have a calf bruise. Was that the reason why Jackson Hayes closed over him, or is that just a coincidence? Because J-Val didn't play the final X minutes here, and that's not normal, right? Is J-Val usually not close? Let's see. Sometimes. And in that spot, it was Larry Nance. So I guess there's been a little bit of a recent precedent of Nance. No, I don't know. Maybe it's a matchup thing. J-Val, fourth quarter. Nance. Why is that? Does J-Val... I was going to say, does he suck at free throws? But he doesn't. I don't know. Maybe they just want more athletic bigs out there. So I guess if I had to make lineups, I would lean towards out just based on the injury. But as far as odds, like a probability, maybe 55-60% out and then 40% in. So I don't know. I think Hayes starts, but neither one of them will get more than 25 minutes. I think if you put 25 minutes on Hayes and or Willie Hernangomez, they both project really good. So you probably have to. What up, Jimmy? I got you, Jimmy, man. I hope that goes well, man. That sucks. Favorite price. So this is the list that we had, Ethan. We had Paul over 8.5 assists, Bridges over 20.5 points, Jaren Jackson Jr. over 36 fantasy points, McCollum over 5.5 assists. The Paul and McCollum assist stuff might move soon, so you have to act on that fast. Let's go post that in Discords for now. You guys got anything else? All I ask, you hit that thumbs up before we get you out of here. Let's put main chat. There's a free Discord right here. If you guys don't want to get in the paid one, there's a link in the description below. The activity, you know, I need some mods. I need some of you guys get up in there. But yeah, Bucks Wave, Sandra, they did. Hey, man, I appreciate you guys making part of my afternoon, be part of your afternoon. We should be back tomorrow. What's the schedule like tomorrow? You know the drill, though, man. And Jimmy, quick reminder, tell somebody out there you love them, man. You just don't know. Life's crazy. 4-gamer tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe if we got to 100 likes real quick, maybe we'd come back tomorrow. If not, we'll definitely be back Friday. But yeah, go take advantage of that MLB promo at rundfs.com. Get the year pass for $3.99. First 5 to do that. Go to have a coupon. Well, sure I do. Type in MLB. You watch that $4.99. Go to $3.99. And then that'll unlock the VIP portal. That'll get you links to the spreadsheet. And then most importantly, the voice chat, the Discord. I'm about to jump in the voice chat. Looks like a couple of the cats are already there. So let's go do some work, man. I love you guys. I really do. I hope you guys have a great night. Profitable night. Twitter.com/Gundacker if you got anything else for me. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.